finally breaks, we will go back to Wessex and claim the land the King Egbert promised us. You know that was always my dream.
I feel my blood warming. I want to fight. I want to raid.
Why do you want to fight? What are you fighting for?
That.
What do you see?
Power. The power of a king.
Power is always dangerous. It attracts the worst and corrupts the best. I never asked for power. Power is only given to those who are prepared to lower themselves to pick it up.
Has the Oracle robbed you of your desire as well?
It would take more than the words of a drunken adolescent girl to rob me of my desire for you.
Then why so distant?
Because it seems, though a slave and captive of lecherous old men, the Oracle's words could set fire to all that I love.
So that is why my king loses sleep and is forced from the warmth of his bed?
To save his world when the very laws he is sworn to protect force him to do nothing.
It is not a question of what a Spartan citizen should do, nor a husband, nor a king. Instead, ask yourself, dearest love, what should a free man do?
Shalom, all praises, glory, honor, and fear to Yahweh, Ba'ashem, Yahushai, Baha, Korash, Rakah, and double honor to elders, those that came before us, citations to the elect, House of David, 144,000 men of Israel, you so-called Negroes, Native Americans, Latinos, confusion of faith, scattered abroad, and blessings to the helpmeets of women, wives, mothers, daughters, sisters, that are also a part of this doctrine, counsel, and new covenant of fulfilling God's law, having the law written on your heart. And, with this lesson, we're going to talk about the basically big question of what are we going to do? What can we do in these last days with all these things occurring, all these prophecies being fulfilled and happening in real time, manifesting? And the answer to this question is we're going to continue trusting in the Lord. That's what trust is all about, is trusting that someone is going to keep their word and do what they said they're going to do. And Lord told us he's going to deliver us from the snare, from the fowler. He's going to deliver us from the heat at noonday, symbolic of the nuclear fire. He's going to deliver us, and the righteous shall scarcely be saved. Even the Lord said, there's some standing here that shall not even taste death. So there's going to be some of us that are not even going to die in this era, in this generation, in this time here now. So the Lord promised us everlasting life. He said, if you believe on me, if you trust in me, you have hope in me, and you don't give up, you don't give in, you don't lose faith, lose heart, then you're going to win. You're going to receive the benefit and the reward, the reward of the Lord. The Lord said, if a son asks his dad for an egg, is he going to give him a scorpion? No, he's going to, if a son or daughter asks a parent for something good and righteous, they're going to be happy that they have that intention, that they have that desire to have something good. So they're going to grant them something good. And that's our Father's good pleasure to give us the kingdom. So what we see happening is that this kingdom, this world is being rent from Esau, because pride and roughness is the losing of authority, like it says in Ecclesiastes. So The pride of Esau is bringing him down very low. He's very rough. He's very arrogant. He's turning all his allies against him with the NATO and the EU. And we're seeing the effects of every sign. So it's not a time for us to be in the spirit of like, oh, what's going to happen? And oh, I'm so worried. I'm so scared. You're supposed to be in a mentality of rejoicing. You're supposed to be in a mentality of gladness, happiness, smiling. While everyone else has a face of disarray and, they have no direction. They have no hope. They're just scared. And see, that's what the Lord hasn't given us, that spirit. He's given us a spirit of power, of a sound mind, of love, right? That's what the Lord's given us. So while all these heathens and 2/3, they're crumbling and they're being destroyed and they're being judged, what the Lord's doing with us, he's preserving us, he's blessing us, he's encouraging us, he's guiding us, he's directing us, and ultimately he's going to deliver us, so that's what we have trust in. That's what this whole doctrine is about. This what this whole, the point of all these lessons is about, is keeping each other in that way, in that path, in that narrow, straight path that leads to life. So this is Matthew 24 and verse 8. All these are the beginning of sorrows. So all these things are the beginning of sorrows. Then shall they deliver you up to be afflicted, and shall kill you, and you shall be hated of all nations for my name's sake. So that's what we are. This is why we're not like mainstream. And remember, it says in Corinthians, we die daily. So every day we die. Every day we sacrifice. Every day we give up our desires and our wants in this life, and we do what the Lord wants us to do in this life. As the prayer says, thy will be done on earth as is in heaven. Your will be done, not our own will. Just like Yahushua said in his last hour before he was crucified, he said, not my will, Father, but thy will be done. He prayed thrice, and he said, not my will, Lord, but your will be done. It says, and then shall many be offended, and shall betray one another, and shall hate one another. So this is the book of 2nd Ezra 16 and verse 17. It says, woe is me, woe is me. Now remember, this is Ezra the prophet saying, woe is me, which we know what woe means. Woe means destruction. Woe means, destruction. But remember, the Lord said, destroy this temple, and the third day I will raise it up again. So you have to, in a sense, destroy a part of yourself, or the old part of yourself that once was, to become the new, to become that new creature. You have to die to self. You have to die to your old ways, So it says, woe is me, who will deliver me in those days, right? The days that Ezra was prophesying about was these days now, these last days, these last times. The Lord said, don't let the incredulity of them that don't believe trouble you. Don't believe how they speak and they say, oh, what are you doing 10 years? What are you doing 20 years? You're not to have that mentality right now. You're to have the mentality of, hey, I'm praying for a few days. I'm praying for his will to be done. I'm praying for his kingdom to come, and this kingdom be taken out. And again, as Yahweh Bashim Yashai is getting closer to the earth, his frequency, his power, his dominion, the prayers are being answered more speedily, man. It's amazing. If you're in the spirit, you're seeing the synchronicities. You're seeing how these things are happening very fast now. And it's a beautiful thing. It's a marvelous thing. We're marveling. We're in awe. So it says, the beginning of sorrows and great mournings, the beginning of famine and great death, the beginning of wars, and the powers shall stand in fear, the beginning of evils. What shall I do when these evils shall come? See, what shall I do when these evils shall come? So we're going to focus on this question here that Ezra was saying. All right, and the main thing that we're going to do as elect, we're going to trust in the Lord. And those that are carnally minded in our flesh and our spirit, they're going to scoff and mock and not believe what we're saying, because it could be like, oh, well, no, you don't have a weapon. Oh, you don't have a stockpile. You don't have a bunker. Oh, you're not going to last. Oh, you don't have $100,000. You don't have a retirement plan. You don't have this. Oh, you ain't got see, that's being carnal. And that's why Yahushua said the parable, to the foolish man. He had all those goods. And he said, what am I going to do with all these goods? I'm going to build another shed, and I'm going to put all my stuff in there, and I'm going to live all merry for the rest of my life, and nothing's going to happen to me. And the Lord was like, you're a fool. Tonight, your soul's going to be required of you. I'm going to kill you tonight. Now what? Now what? You see what I'm saying? Heavy. So the main thing about this life that we're living, this world we're in, and this times that we're in, is trusting in the Lord, not trusting in your own power or your own might or what you can do. You know what I'm saying? So this is Psalms 20:7. Some trust in chariots and some in horses, but we will remember the name of Yahweh our God. So remember, the Lord said, there's no other name given amongst men whereby we must be saved. So Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, that name alone is what's going to save us. He's going to deliver us. He's going to get the praise. He's going to get the glory. He's going to get the validation and the remembrance of why we were delivered, why we were saved. Just like Egypt, it wasn't Moses personally that opened up the Red Sea. It was the Lord that did. Moses just did what he told him to do. He said, put your staff in the sea, and he did what he told him to do. And then the Lord did all the rest, obviously. You see, the same thing happening now. All right, so let's go to another couple precepts about this whole trusting, right? The Lord said in Proverbs, don't lean on your own way, but trust in the Lord. Psalms 34, verse 22, the Lord redeemeth the soul of his servants, and none of them that trust in him shall be desolate. You see? So it says none of them that trust in him shall be desolate. So that means desolate means like you're just, you ain't got no food, you ain't got no clothes, you ain't got no shelter, you ain't got no help, you ain't got no protection, you're desolate, you're done. Psalms 37:5, commit thy way unto Yahweh, trust also in him, and he shall bring it to pass. So this is what the Lord is bringing to pass in these last days, the salvation of the elect. So let's get the definition of trust. So trust is firm belief in the reliability, truth, or ability of someone or something, right? Confidence, belief. And the Lord said it also means have faith and call confidence, right? So the Lord said without faith, it's impossible to please him. So if you don't trust in the Lord, then you cannot please the Lord. So you're displeasing God. God ain't pleased with you. All right, place reliance on luck, fate, or chance. And it's from Old Norse trustar, which is strong, right? So we have strong trust in the Lord. People like with the economy crashing, like, oh, I gotta buy Bitcoin, I gotta buy gold, I gotta buy silver, I gotta buy this, I gotta get this, I gotta get that. That's what they're putting their trust in. That's what they're putting their faith in, their luck in. But we're not putting our trust in riches of this world, because we know that it's all cankered. Their gold, their silver is cankered. It's rotten. Everything's rotten here. Because the vibration of this world is wicked and is darkness, and that's why this light, this truth, is destroying it. And it's also at the same time, it's making a way for the righteous through it all. So this is Psalms 118:8. It is better to trust in the Lord than to put confidence in man. Right? Don't even put confidence in yourself. Put confidence in the Lord and what he's doing. And this is what's going to make you blessed. And this is what's going to make you flourish. And this is what's going to make you inherit and have all things when you trust in the Lord. And not trust in the world or a job or yourself or something. You know what I'm saying? Because that's what people make their God. They make things and material things, and they make that their God, and they trust in that. And then they put God in the back burner. Like, yeah, I believe in God. Oh, yeah, I read the Bible. Yeah, okay. You know what I'm saying? It's the same I'm gonna say it's the same concept of like people be like, well, what do you want to be in life, or what do you want to do with your life? And it's like, us as the servants and the elect, the prophets, believers of the Lord, we're like, what we want to be and do is be a good and faithful servant to the Lord. We want to please him, you know. We want to do his command. We want to obey him, you know, and we want to be like Elijah. We want to be like Moses. We want to be like Judith, you know, Esther and Yahushua ultimately. And they'll look at you and be like, okay, that's really good. Okay, but what are you gonna do with your life? You know, and they just ask the same question. It's like, you didn't hear me? Because they're so connected to the beast, the system, that they don't know. They can't even fathom a world without Esau at the top, without Esau giving you a paycheck, without Esau giving you money and this and that. You know what I'm saying? Thinking that's life. That's not life. That's endless slavery under your oppressor, under your enemy. You know. But all that's changing now in these last days. Call Allah Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. You know? So this is Jeremiah 17:7. Verse 5 says, thus saith Yahweh, cursed be the man that trusteth in man, see the cursed, and maketh flesh his arm, and whose heart departeth from the Lord. Verse 7, blessed is a man that trusteth in the Lord, and whose hope the Lord is, right? Period. Nothing added, nothing subtracted. You know, when you trust in Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, it doesn't mean you have to add something to it. You have to add to the scriptures. You have to take away from the scriptures. No, it's plain and simple. And as these things are plain to the godly, they're stumbling blocks to the wicked. And that's why they can't grasp this, you know. And I'm going to say this too. Like, a lot of guys that are, in a sense, in this truth, it seems like they're just doing this just for clickbait, just for attention of the world, which is not good attention. They just want more subscribers. They want more likes, you know what I'm saying? And it's so very obvious, because when you really speak the full-on truth and you really break down and expose all the darkness, you bring out what the mark of the beast is. You bring out the majority of the elders, that they were corrupt and they actually crucified Yahushua. You bring out this, you bring out that, right? The vaccine is a mark of the beast. A test, no swab, is a mark of the beast. It makes you that you get taken down, you get flagged, you get striked. But with a lot of these other guys, they have thousands and thousands of subscribers. They have all these viewers, all these likes, right? Because they're getting attention from the world. They speak of the world. They speak like the world. Therefore, the world hears them. Oh, trust in what I'm saying. Trust in what I'm doing. Trust in what I'm telling you to do. But they don't trust in Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, really. You see, there's a lot of false prophets in these last days. You know, and that's why the Lord said, he that heareth you, heareth me. So when we tell other guys, hey this, hey that, out of love, not out of spite, we even did private messages just between man and man. They don't want to listen. They don't want to hear that. They don't want to humble themselves. Like, yeah, you're right, bro. You know what I'm saying? Because they're arrogant and they're proud, you know? And they love the broad gate. They love the attention. And this is the same concept of Korah, Dathan, and Abiram in Numbers 16. You know, they were famous in the congregation. And they coveted what Moses and Aaron really had. And then because of them being evil, the earth opened up them and everyone that was a part of them and joined to them, and it swallowed them up. You see? Sirach 35:12. Do not think to corrupt with gifts, for such he will not receive. Trust not to unrighteous sacrifices, for the Lord is judge, and with him is no respect of persons. Alright. Ecclesiastes 32:24. He that believeth in the Lord taketh heed to the commandment. Right, and those that don't believe in the Lord, they break the commandment. They say, oh no, we don't got to keep God's commandments. The law's done away with. This because they don't understand. The Lord said in Daniel 12, the wise is going to understand. The unwise, they're not going to understand. They're not going to comprehend. They're not going to get it. You know, it's going to go over their head, and they're going to always speak against us. So they're always going to be contrary because they're of Satan. They're of the adversary. They're deceived, and they're deceiving all others also. So it says, he that trusteth in him shall fare never the worst. So we're never going to fare the worst. The Lord's keeping the best for last, you know, and that's what we are, right? And when you read these scriptures and you align to the Lord and the Spirit, you realize that it's about us and it's for us. Zephaniah 3 and And 2, she obeyed not the voice, she received not correction, she trusted not in Yahweh, she drew not near to her power. Her princes within her are roaring lions, you see. Her judges are evening wolves, because what do they judge for? They're judging for hire, they're judging for money. To the highest bidder. And we'll say what you want us to say, you see. They gnaw not the bones till the morrow. Her prophets are light. You see, their prophets ain't heavy. They're not heavy, they're light. You know, they're very base. You know, and they don't, like the Lord said, he said, come up higher, my friend. They don't want to come up higher in the spirit. They want to come up higher in the flesh, higher in this world. You see, this is why they take the high seats, which the Lord said, don't take the high seats, because these high seats, they pervert you, they pollute you. Says, her prophets are light and treacherous persons. Her priests have polluted the sanctuary, and they have done violence to the law. You see, they're not fulfilling God's law in their heart and loving their neighbor as themselves. They're doing violence to the law. So they're being what? Murderous. They're hating their brother in their heart. They're jealous. They're envious. Oh, I don't want people to watch your videos. I want them just to watch my videos. And you know what I'm saying? You can see through the spirit how a lot of guys are. And that's why most of us that have the elect, we're a lot of times alone. We have a little following. We have a small sanctuary, which is a part of the prophecies being fulfilled. The Lord said he'd leave us in the midst of the world as a small sanctuary. Few men left. All right, verse 12 says, I will also leave in the midst of thee an afflicted and poor people, and they shall trust in the name of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai. The remnant of Israel shall not do iniquity, nor speak lies, neither shall a deceitful tongue be found in their mouth, for they shall feed and lie down, and none shall make them afraid. So that's the main point as well, is that no one and nothing is going to make us afraid. You know, because we're perfect in love with the Lord. So we're not afraid of the nuclear missiles. We're not afraid of the economy collapsing. We're not afraid of Esau coming down in great wrath, because we understand that this is all the willing of the Lord. The Lord wants this to happen. He's controlling this all to happen as well. So that's why when Yahushua, he was being faced with Pontius Pilate and Herod and all these Edomites and 2/3, he told them, you can't do anything unless my Father allows it. So them having him in custody and in prison and in shackles was what the Father was allowing for them to do. And so he understood this power behind what the Lord wanted him to do. The same thing goes for us. Ecclesiastes 5:7, make no tarrying to turn to the Lord, and put not off from day to day, for suddenly shall the wrath of Yahweh come forth, and in thy security thou shalt be destroyed, and perish in the day of vengeance, right? So basically making your bed, making your trust in this system, in this world. See, he says, set not thine heart upon goods unjustly gotten, for they shall not profit thee in the day of calamity. Heavy. So just like the Lord said in Proverbs 24, verse 10, I believe, the Lord said, riches profit not in the day of the Lord's wrath. And this is the Lord's wrath. This is definitely the time of Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushua's wrath upon the wicked. All right, it's Isaiah 29:19. The meek also shall increase their joy in Yahweh, and the poor among men shall rejoice in the Holy One of Israel. You see that? For the terrible one is brought to naught, and the scorner is consumed, and all they that watch for iniquity are cut off. See that? So they're being cut off. But meanwhile, those of us that are meek, that are poor, we're increasing our joy, man. We're rejoicing in these things that are happening, man. We're glorifying the Lord in these fires, because we're a part of the fire. We're a part of the Lord. We want what the Lord wants. The Lord wants what we want, because vengeance burns in what? In the Lord's heart. And we have that same mentality. We have the mind of Yahushua, man. You see? So if you don't have the mind of Yahushua, you're going to be hearing these words and be like, oh, how can you say that? Well, what about if there's good people in Madagascar? And what if there's good people in the land of France? And the Lord told Abraham through the angel, said, if there's someone righteous in a city, the Lord's not going to destroy the righteous in the city. He's going to deliver the righteous, and then he's going to get the righteous away, and then he's going to destroy all the wicked altogether. Heavy. Simple as that. Isaiah 65:13. Therefore, thus saith, I saw verse verse 12 says, "Therefore will I number you to the sword, and ye shall all bow down to the slaughter, because when I have called, ye did not answer. When I spake, ye did not hear." Remember we had that lesson the other day, how basically us as the elect, we're doorkeepers, we're the doors, we're the portals. And the Lord's knocking through us, knock, 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 ringing the doorbell, ding dong, in hopes that you'll open the door and allow him in, welcome him in. You see, it says, "Because when I called, ye did not answer. When I spake, ye did not hear, but did evil before mine eyes, and did choose that wherein I delighted not. Therefore thus saith Yahweh power, Behold, my servants shall eat, but ye shall be hungry. Behold, my servants shall drink, but ye shall be thirsty. Behold, my servants shall rejoice, but ye shall be ashamed. Behold, my servants shall sing for joy of heart, but ye shall cry for sorrow of heart, and shall howl for vexation of spirit." Heavy. So the Lord also, he called us no longer servants, because the servant doesn't know what the master does. The servant doesn't know what the Lord does. He's called us his friends, because he's telling us exactly what he's doing. Heavy. Ecclesiastes 25:7, "There be 9 things which I have judged in mine heart to be happy, and the 10th will I utter with my tongue. A man that hath joy of his children, and he that liveth to see the fall of his enemy." Heavy. So we're living and we're seeing in real time the fall of our enemy. The economy is our enemy. The job market is our enemy. The real estate is our enemy. Every facet of society is our enemy. The clothing line, the mall is our enemy. It's all polyester and plastic, not good for us. The food, the restaurants is our enemy. They use toxic oils, and they cook unclean meats and so on and so forth. Sin. All these things are our enemy, man, and it's all falling down. And it's a good thing. It's not a bad thing. It's a good thing, because a part of it is us inheriting the nations and inheriting the world, and finally getting rest from our hard bondage wherein we were made to serve. So this is Mark chapter 3 and verse 26. "And if Satan rise up against himself and be divided, he cannot stand, but hath an end." So this is their end. 2 Ezra 6:9, "For Esau is the end of the world, and Jacob is the beginning of it that followeth." So this is the end of Esau's world, and them being on top, them being catered to, them being set up high, and us being on the bottom, us, you know what I'm saying? And it's a transition of power. Obadiah 1:18, "And the house of Jacob shall be a fire, and the house of Joseph a flame, and the house of Esau for stubble. And they shall kindle in them and devour them, and there shall not be any remaining of the house of Esau, for Yahweh hath spoken it." So this is what the Lord and us as the prophets are saying right now, is that there's going to be not any remaining of the house of Esau. So all this pressure, all this fire, all this judgment, all this war, all these heavy natural disasters, which is the Lord's judgment, and what I'm gonna say this, man, watch that movie Greenland 2, man. It's gonna make you laugh, man. If you're in the spirit, watch the movie Greenland 2, and you're gonna laugh, man. It's mad funny. And that's what the Lord said. The Lord said his servants, he said his friends, he's gonna make us laugh, man. He's gonna make us happy, because we're not going to be a part of that terror. The Lord's not going to be a terror unto us. Heavy. Psalms 91:8, "Only with thine eyes shalt thou behold and see the reward of the wicked. Because thou hast made the Lord, which is my refuge, even the Most High, thy habitation. There shall no evil befall thee, neither shall any plague come nigh thy dwelling." See, no plague, no sickness, no death, no this. Heavy. Isaiah 24:15, "Wherefore glorify ye Yahweh in the fires, even the name of Yahweh Bashim Yashai of Israel in the isles of the sea." Beautiful. Right, Revelation 15. I'm probably going to close off on this precept. Revelation 15:1, "And I saw another sign in heaven, great and marvelous, 7 angels having the 7 last plagues, for in them is filled up the wrath of God. So if you're wicked, you got to read this scripture and you say, oh, how can the 7 last plagues be great and marvelous? And no, it's a horrible thing. It's so bad what's happening. Oh, look how people are suffering. Oh, look how, bro, they're wicked. They're heathen. They're reaping. Everyone's reaping what they've sown. You shall reap what you sow. You know? And you might look at someone and say, oh, they're such a good person. Oh, they're so kind. But behind closed doors, they're transgender. Behind closed doors, they're raping children. Behind closed doors, they're sex trafficking children. They're rich off that. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't really know people till you know people, man. But the Lord knows all people. So when you see judgment, know that it is righteous, man. There's a reason behind everything. As far as there were a sea of glass and mingled with fire, and them that had gotten the victory over the beast, right, over this system, over this pit, this oppression, over his image, what people say is cool, you know, the image that they want to keep up, you know. They want to blaspheme God. They don't want God to be a part of society, right? And over his mark, the vaccine, which you got a lot of guys hush about the mark. Oh, it's RFID chip. It's RFID chip. So check this. If a Lord were to allow a prophecy of the nuclear missiles to fly off and destroy Babylon and destroy certain parts of the world, then guess what? That would just prove even more of the validity of the vaccine being a part of the mark of the beast, which it is a big part of the mark of the beast. You know? And, you know, and then there's not going to be even a need or a reason for an RFID mark. You know what I'm saying? And over the number of his name, stand on the sea of glass, having the harps of God. And they sing the song of Moses, the servant of God. For all you guys that just absolutely hate and deny the law, right? Which the law is righteous if a man use it lawfully. Saying great, and the song of a lamb, right? The new covenant. Saying great and marvelous are thy works, Yahweh, power almighty, just and true are thy ways, thou King of saints. That's right. Who shall not fear thee, O Lord, and glorify thy name? For thou art only holy. For all nations shall come and worship before thee, for thy judgments are made manifest. You see, so the judgments are manifest and they're happening. The word manifest, when you define the word manifest, it means clear or obvious to the eye or mind, right? And we just read in Psalms 91 verse 8, only with thine eyes you're to see the reward of the wicked. You see, so it's manifesting. It's on display. It's evident. There's evidence. You know, the writings on the wall. You know, everything's happening in real time. So it's a glorious, beautiful time for us as the believers, as the followers of the Lord, as the servants of the Lord, and we're succeeding, man. You know, this is the time of our rewards. This is the time of our blessings and our presents and our gifts and the Lord answering our prayers, man, speedily. You know, the judgment is coming speedily. The salvation coming speedily. You know, lift up your head, your redemption draws nigh. And the Lord's He's gonna make the strange of our salvation, his strange act. He's gonna do his strange work, as it's written in Isaiah, as it's written in Wisdom of Solomon. You know. All praises, glory, honor, fity, how Bashem Yao Shai, Bahakor Ashraka, Abal, repent. This kingdom is fallen, it's coming to its end, and our kingdom is coming. Shalom.
Sergeant.